Hi, my name is Christian and I'm partner with Capnamic Ventures, and I'm really looking forward to talk to you today about how to approach a VC. First of all, it is very important that you make a good first impression. As much as it is in any kind of relationship, it is very important to come across right. As a venture capitalist, you will usually get something between 1,500 and 1,800 deals per year. This means on a monthly basis you get up to 150 different companies that want to work with you. And as much as one of the most fundamental things that should get you in this industry is the curiosity to learn about the companies and about the things that they do, 150 companies is quite a bit. And unfortunately, as much as I wish it would be better, we do sometimes get overloaded, and sometimes things that don't come across right get sucked up in the things that we also have to do, and we might not get closer in the analysis than we would if we would have gotten the time to do it. So approaching a venture capitalist is crucial in order to be on the top of the pile of the things that he looks into and be the first one he wants to talk to. If you start working on a financing round, and if you start to look for the ideal partner and you have identified venture capitalists that are ideal for you, they cover the industry that you do, they cover the face that you do, they seem kind of persons that you want to work with. If you already know them, ideal. Most of the time you will not. No matter how many events you go to, most of the time you will not know the people that you want to talk to in the end. So start leveraging your network. It's something that you probably hear from the first day that you've ever done something in business, but start thinking about people who know people. And you will quickly come to the point where you see that some people in your network already know a venture capitalist, and maybe even someone that can really be beneficial for what you do and be really the right partner. Use this, because frankly, just sending an email to some kind of info ad or deals ad email address is the last resort, and it can be successful. However, statistically speaking, the chances of getting to a yes are much, much higher if you are introduced to a venture capitalist or if you know somebody who would be so kind to introduce you. Once you have a contact and once you've had maybe a warm introduction, or once you have to go through the deal or info addresses of the venture capitalist, make sure that the impression is right in the sense that your material should be really good. This means that no matter what you do and how difficult it is and how really challenging the topic and the problem that you're solving might be, try to make sure that after reading 4 to 5 slides, I have a general idea of what you do. Because otherwise I will start to get confused. And the problem is that once a venture capitalist is getting confused, the chances are unfortunately deteriorating quite quickly that you can regather his interest. Important in this phase is to make it easily digestible. That means really try to come up with an initial impression of 10, maximum 15, maybe 20, but never more than 20 pages as a pitch deck. Don't go through the effort of writing a 50 or something pages long business plan, because in the end it's gonna be so cumbersome to read through it, and the chances of him just flipping through the pages and missing the most important parts are not decreased just because you make some of the parts bold and others not. Other than that, just from an operational perspective, an institutional venture capitalist is super unlikely to sign an NDA. So don't bother. In the end, our business is people's business, and the only asset that we really have is the trust that we get from the industry. And trust is built over a long period of time. However, if I would go ahead and take the idea of a founder team once and try to, share information with the public or competitors, or maybe even go as far to try to start a team doing the same thing, this trust will be gone, and I will never do a deal ever again. So any professional venture capital investor is not going to share any information that you will be given. If you have the thinking and if you have the gut feeling that this could be different, then don't bother and don't contact this VC because he's not the right one for you. After you have then sent a concise deck, make sure that you're ready for him coming back, because the more you can respond and the quicker you can respond, the more he will think that you are really interested in what he's doing and that you really want to work with him or her. That means typical follow-up questions will be around your business model, will be around your financial model. Have something as a mock-up, have something that you can share the very moment that he or she is asking for it. And there's a typical organizational breakthrough that you do not want to undergo, and that is have a clean cap table. Make sure that the people that are most incentivized in the company in the early days, meaning a Series A or a seed investment phase, are the ones that actually work for the company. There's nothing wrong with working with business angels. Absolute contrary, they can be super beneficial. But giving someone over 50 or maybe 60% of your company before an investor has really invested, like an institutional investor has really invested, might be too much. And that might be something that causes the break in the relationship with the possible investor already before you actually had the chance to show him how great the company is that you have built up to this phase. As a next phase, investors need to understand what you do, and that means that they need to understand the problem. There's nothing worse from an investor's point of view than having a solution that is desperately seeking a problem. So help me understand why you are solving something that is really a solution that I or somebody in the industry that you're targeting is willing to pay for. Make sure that I understand it from the second or third slide that I work with you, and go through it with me over the phone when we have an introductory call, because it's going to be just beneficial for you if I understand that the product and the technology that you have built actually solves the market. And if you do all the efforts and somebody doesn't understand it, again, it's probably not the investor that you want to go with. And getting a no is eventually something that can be pretty good, and it's going to be something that you will have to face during the fundraising processes over and over and over again. After you have made clear that you actually do have a product and that you actually solve a problem with this product, in the early days of a business, especially as we invest mostly in ICT topics, especially in these areas, the core asset that we are investing in are the people that work for it. So make sure that we get to know the people, and not only you as CEO or COO or CTO, but the whole founding team. And there should be a founding team, because usually we do not want to invest into companies that have a single founder, because that is too risky from an investor's point of view. So make sure that we understand who is the financial guy, who's the technological guy, who's the business guy, and how you've gotten to know each other, how you've come up with the idea, and how you are a very complementary team that is not only keen to build something really big here, but also prepared to hire more senior people, hire people that will bring this company forward, and together with the venture capitalist, bring this forward. Because this is going to be the core reason for us to invest. In the end, there is nothing that we can sell. There's no real asset, because the only asset that we have are the people that we work with. Then a venture capitalist always needs a return, and this return has to be substantially paying back his fund. No matter the fund volume, no matter how much he puts in, a rule of thumb can be that he needs to be able to return at least half of his fund with you, the investment that he does in your company. That means that you need to show him how the market that you're appealing to is big enough for him to make money with it. So show him that there is a decent market size. Don't tell him that you can reach 1% and that's only 1. Because 1% can be a whole lot of something to achieve. But show him that there is a growing opportunity, and show him why you are the one to seize this opportunity. Because only then he will come up with the math himself and realize that this is a chance that he should not miss out on. Which is, by the way, something that you should make sure that he gets. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, as a lot of people in our industry put it, is one of the most fundamental things that gets a VC going. Next to the market size, which we've just discussed, it is important to show why time is now. So not only should you make sure that you address a market that's good and that you have a product that's good, but you should also tell me why your product at this point in time is right to do this market. Let me give you a very quick example of virtual reality as a business model in itself. So for instance, 10 years back, you had already some kind of VR ideas. You had, however, glasses that were that big, and that means they were very cumbersome to work with. So investing back then in a software solution that does not offer you the chance to scale because the hardware is not ready is going to be quite challenging. 10 years later, however, you have way smaller devices, you have much more advanced software components, and you have actually companies that can work with it. So it feels like more of a time to invest into something like this than it did 10 years ago. And just like this industry, a lot of industry have these moments in time where technological advancements or enhancements in hardware or wherever in the industry, maybe even regulatory changes, can get you to the point where your business model is now ideal for a fit. And even though it's always a bit of a look in the future, it's worth to take this look and tell me why 3 years from now everybody's gonna want it, even if today it's only in experimentation phase. Finally, when you talk with a venture capitalist, make sure that you display a clear strategy and give him a clear picture of what is the organization that you want to build. A clear strategy means you need to have an idea about the sales that you want to do. You need to have an idea how you want to do the sales. Who might be on the other side, the counterparty, to actually purchase your solution? Who might be partners that you need? Who are the stakeholders in the whole infrastructure that you're setting up? And then ultimately, which people do you need? Most of the money that a venture capitalist is giving you will be for hiring, will be for the talent that helps you scale your company and build something really successful. So make sure that you show me which are the key people over the next year at least that you want to hire. And in an ideal scenario, you might even already have a couple of contacts that are just waiting for you to get funding and to start with you. This is just like a checklist that you should undergo when you approach a VC, for a very simple reason. If you don't go through this checklist, the chances that your relationship is going to be very short and that you're not going to get to a closing with this specific investor are substantially higher than they would be if you would just prepare these things and have an answer to them. Also, outside of the venture capital world, I believe they're going to be very beneficial for you to be successful, just because they make clear that you have a clear plan for your company. Thank you very much for listening.